federal prosecutors have charged more than 24 Canadian nationals in a massive scam that bilked more than $21 million from elderly people in more than 40 U.S. states, the Vermont District's U.S. Attorney's Office announced. According to the indictment, which was unsealed this week, the Grandparent scam operated between summer 2021 and June 2024 from call centers in and around Montreal. The defendants conducted a transnational criminal enterprise with the sole intent of defrauding hundreds of retirees of their life savings by preying on their emotions and deceiving them into thinking their loved ones were in peril. Thomas DeMayo, acting special agent in charge of the IRS's Criminal Investigations Boston Field Office, said in a statement, "Here's what you need to know: how the elderly scam worked. Prosecutors say some defendants falsely posed as relatives, typically grandchildren of the victims, and claimed to need bail money after being arrested following a car crash. Other defendants allegedly posed as attorneys representing those relatives. Calls were made through phone providers that made it appear as if they were coming from within the U.S., the indictment said. The victims were also persuaded to provide bail money to people who came to their home impersonating bail bondsmen and were often led to believe a gag order was in place, preventing them from telling anyone about the situation. Some victims were approached multiple times under the pretense that the bail amount had increased, the indictment said, and officials said members of conspiracy refer to those providing substantial amounts of money as whales. The swindled money was then transmitted to Canada. The indictment says the transactions sometimes involved cryptocurrency, which veiled the source of the money and identities of those involved. Canadian law enforcement officers said they found many of the defendants actively engaged in phone conversations with elderly victims in Virginia when they executed search warrants at several call centers last year. Vulnerable victims, all but 2 of 25 defendants, who are ages 27 to 45, were arrested Tuesday in Canada. The pair who remain at large, 38-year-old Garrett West, known as Buddy or Muscles, and 35-year-old Jimmy Lamaki, a.k.a. Coop, are among those accused of managing the fake call centers. West, Ilamaki, and 3 others are also charged with conspiring to commit money laundering and face up to 40 years in prison if convicted. The remaining defendants could face up to 20 years. 9 additional people were charged earlier in Vermont in connection with the scam. The transnational criminal conspiracy described in the indictment preyed on vulnerable victims throughout the United States, said acting U.S. Attorney Michael Drescher of the Vermont District in a news release announcing the charges, citing the ongoing investigation. In addition to the IRS's Criminal Investigations Unit, the inquiry involved agents from Homeland Security Investigations, New England, and U.S. Customs and Border Protection, with assistance from Sûreté du Québec and the Royal Canadian Mounted Police. Financial crimes targeting seniors are on the rise, though tallies of victims and financial losses vary greatly. A report released in April 2024 by the FBI's Internet Crime Complaint Center reported 101,000 elder fraud complaints with collective losses of $3.4 billion. Some say the number is probably higher because victims don't always report such crimes out of shame.